Hi, my name is Travis Drossel. I did my project on Fiat Chrysler automobiles, or known as FCA. Just as a quick brief history, Chrysler produced their first vehicle in 1924, advertised as an affordable luxury vehicle, just starting out at $1,565. In 1928, Chrysler purchases Dodge. We skip forward in time, 1984, Chrysler comes out with the first front-wheel drive minivan, which was a huge success on their part. It led them out of their difficult time and back on the road to success. 1987, Chrysler purchases AMC, of which they acquired Jeep. 2008, Chrysler is struggling through the recession and they needed the government bailout to get through it. And then in 2009, Fiat comes along and partners with Chrysler and they form FCA. Alright, so for FCA, there are regulatory bodies that fall under this. The main ones are the U.S. Department of Transportation, or the DOT, National Traffic and Motor Vehicle Safety Act. This includes safety regulations such as seat belts, airbags, etc., along with all the regulations. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or known as NHTSA. They oversee automakers in regards to safety standards and regulations, and they hold them accountable. And then lastly, EPA, they oversee air pollution, water pollution, etc. For networking, FCA mainly networks with their competition such as Ford, General Motors, Toyota. They do this for keeping up with current technology, competitive pricing, new trends, planning. And they also network with government agencies like NHTSA and EPA. This is for keeping an eye on current laws, regulations, meeting standards, compliance, feedback. For external facilities, they network with many places. Just a couple examples is Takata Corp and Evans Distribution Center. Takata was externally hired by FCA mainly for the production of their airbags, which they ended up having a huge recall for. Wasn't a good idea on their part, but they got through the recall and it's still in process now and it's getting fixed. And then for Evans Distribution Center, it is used for production of their finished products. And I'll go into further detail a little later on for that. Alright, so for employee and business performance, management and development, PML, or performance evaluation system is what FCA uses. This includes meritocracy of rewarding excellence, leadership of managing change, including processes and people, competition to understand, strive, and outbeat. Performance is their core benchmark for continuously improving and innovating to make better products. And then for accountability, they want to deliver and they want to promise their deliveries in regards to making new products, recalls, innovations. With employees and talent management is huge. FCA places people with the right skills in the key positions for the most benefit. Through PLM, this process helps guide employees in relation to their results, attitudes, and behaviors. This tracking gives them an understanding of where employees stand and where they want them to be, and where they can potentially grow. For internal and external customer relations, in the past, customer relations needed quite a bit of work. Informing customers of recalls were slow and ineffective. Consumers had notified many issues to NHTSA because recalls weren't getting fixed properly and owners were getting upset. But when the merger of Fiat took place, many of these recalls improved. Data is now researched and conducted before and after sales to monitor satisfaction. This is not only select within the U.S. but globally, with 26 customer care centers serving nearly 16 million people. For training methods and leadership styles, FCA puts a lot of time and money into training, especially for customer care. They just recently created a new training center in Detroit. This center is mainly focused, though, on manufacturing and technology. With each employee, they go through an average 19 hours of training, and their training includes goal setting, proper feedback, added suggestions, etc. And it includes development through job retention, assisted coaching, mentoring, and any other possible needs that may be. FCA falls under the participative leadership style. This is where employees offer feedback and suggestions, ideas, input. This helps the company as a whole for overseeing challenges and improving processes. So far, FCA has received 200,000 employee suggestions, which most have been implemented. For benchmarking, this is the evaluation and comparison to standards. Performance is FCA's biggest benchmark for keeping up with the competition in regards to performance, quality, innovation, technology, and communication. With this, FCA is expected to fulfill a $60 billion plus growth rate plan where they want to be in the near future and how they are going to get there. For social responsibility, they do quite a bit. They are compensating 100 tons of CO2 that was produced in the year, and also planted 500 fruit trees in Kenya and Haiti. The Ram Truck brand has Letters for Lyrics, which they show appreciation by sending letters to troops serving our country. Chrysler each year donates to Toys for Tots. And lastly, FCA is giving back to their employees with the FCA Scholarship. This is where they are offering all employees free tuition, their spouses, and their children who attend Strayer University. They want their employees to become educated, and they also use this as a recruitment tool. Their social responsibility is ensuring a bright future. For employee philosophy, during the FCA major, employees were worried. They were unsure of what change would take place and what would happen to them, but it only resulted in a bettering of their whole company as a whole. Employees today are feeling much more confidence in what they're doing. They receive many benefits such as employee discount, paid schooling, insurance, etc., just to name a few here. Employee satisfaction's opinions depend to vary. Some are happy, some are not, but the biggest complaint is an unequal work-life balance due to long hours. Alright, so as we get to their problems and ethical issues, in the past they have had really slow recalls and they have been ineffective. So they have been delayed in correspondence of recalls, delayed customer notification, delayed parts availability. Recalls have been in processes for years later. They have neglected to form NHTSA of many of these safety concerns, and recalls have not been followed through or completed. So as a couple examples here, FCA was recently fined $105 million imposed by NHTSA. This was due to their handling of their 23 vehicle safety recalls involving 11 million defective vehicles. Two of the biggest ones, as examples, affects the 96 to 04 Grand Cherokees, 02 through 07 Liberties, and their 09 through 12 Ram pickups. 1.5 million of these Jeeps were recalled due to catching fire and rear-end accidents caused by no fuel tank protection. So far, 75 deaths have occurred. NHTSA enforced the recall back in 2013. It took Chrysler 8 months before they started notifying owners whatsoever. It took an additional 6 months to completely notify all owners. The recall fix remedy was to install hitches so that they have protection in the rear. But it took Chrysler 11 months before they started producing any hitches. It took 21 months to supply sufficient amount of hitches for the affected vehicles, and this recall is still current today. For the Ram pickups, roughly 200,000 were bought back by Chrysler because they were unable to come up with an adequate remedy. The remedy to fix them was fixing the rear and front axle, and it was ineffective. So it caused vehicles to lose control while driving. It was forced by NHTSA to conduct a recall in 2013, and it's cost Chrysler nearly $1 billion. So, as we get to FCA's mission, their commitment is the reduction of environmental footprint, safety and connected vehicles, and increasing product competitiveness. These recalls, the issues, they don't fit their mission at all. So there's definitely work that is needed. For the government required solutions for their recalls, the government has required Chrysler to seek external help in regards to their recalls, and FCA has selected Deloitte accounting firm to conduct and review evaluations of their current recalls and to monitor the NHTSA's compliance. Much of this is monetary and regulatory monitoring, though, and isn't really beneficial as their company as a whole. It doesn't really fix their internal processes. But NHTSA also required FCA to hire an independent auditor to directly report to NHTSA for documentation. All right, so as we get to our communication flow charts, we can start up here with the government. There's the two agencies that apply here, the DOT and EPA. Under the DOT, we have National Traffic Safety Act, or NHTSA. They're going to communicate back and forth for if there is a recall issue. See if they're meeting their requirements or not. If they are not, which they aren't, FCA needs to immediately get with marketing and customer relations to get the word out to public. So marketing is going to do an announcement. Customer service is going to send out notifications to the affected owners. Then they need to immediately get with testing and manufacturing to test the defective products. And also with manufacturing, they need to go back and forth and talk and come up with strategies on what is wrong, what they can do to make it right. Once they figure out a good product of a remedy for their issue, they need to get with distribution centers to send this to dealers so that the vehicles can start getting repaired. Dealers and affected owners will speak back and forth to schedule maintenance. And then affected owners, once the vehicle is fixed, they can get back and notify NHTSA if their vehicle has been properly fixed or if the issue is still not effective. For communication flow chart for internals, we have government officials and the FCA recall auditor, which will work hand in hand with the FCA's president. They will work with the government, and let's see here. Information will flow down for what is required, but feedback will also flow back up. So everyone is getting input from everyone, and it will eventually go all the way down, all the way up, and then all the way back up here. So everyone is going to have a good understanding of what is taking place, what is not working, and how we can make things better. For intelligence tools, FCA can look to sales charts. This will show the result of how recalls are harming their sales. Studying consumer demographics will help them identify the likeliness of consumer response upon the recall and how it was handled. A market growth rate formula needs to be communicated through management to see the affected recalls, how they will have on the market growth rate. Will it harm sales, or will the solution increase sales? For Dassault's CADA systems, this will offer assistance in better material flow for speeding up parts manufacturing. As continuous tools here, like I said before, Evans Distribution Center, they have contracted them in assistance for speeding up deliveries with expected load from the recall processes. Innovation will help speed up the processes to make FCA more effective and efficient. And FCA has recently implemented 3D printing to assist in quicker manufacturing of their parts. This here is an example of the Ram pickup differentials of how they're going with 3D printing. It makes it much quicker. As other solutions, there are external companies such as Stericycle Expert Solutions. They are a global leader in company compliance and will work directly with NHTSA. They offer solutions to regulations, recalls, customer care, safety, legal, auditing, documentation, and so much more. They help timely completion of recalls and make sure that things are getting done. They do an oversight and inspection and repairs and study customer satisfaction. For planning, coming to steps to a solution, we need to first identify the issue. Is it legal? Is it unethical? Currently, the issue of FCA's recalls are taking way too long and are ineffective. It is illegal if not handled correctly, and they will be fined by NHTSA again. It is unethical. Completing recalls in a timely manner with effective remedies is the ethical choice. So, we need to weigh our options. You either issue a recall or you don't issue a recall. With our current and slow recall processes, it's not working. So we need to implement new strategies and technology for an improved system. We need to identify our potential consequences. We can be fined by NHTSA again. We're putting owners and drivers at risk. We are having much added expenses and costs, loss of sales, reputation harm, and overall company risk. So for who is affected, our owners, our employees, stockholders, and stakeholders, drivers in general, because we have Jeeps and Rams and everything out on the road with everyone else. Everyone's affected. Our competitors are affected. They are gaining our sales that we're losing. So for making the decision, FCA will improve on new technology, innovation, communication, and come up with strategies to improve the timeliness and effectiveness of their recalls. So organizing this, FCA needs to look to their internals on what is happening. It is obvious their processes aren't working currently and their ethics have just plain out slipped. They need to better their enforcement of policies. They need to stress more workplace appraisal and reasonable scheduling. Managers need to be further educated to guide their individuals. They need to ensure proper employee placement. For leading and controlling, we need to guide individuals in the right direction. Check for clarity and understanding. If they don't know, then help them so that they can understand what they need to do. Checking for understanding and clarity. Monitor the outcome by utilizing feedback and making adjustments where needed. And just implementing new technology. This will equal a quicker and more effective recall processes, and more vehicles will be repaired. And it will also reduce owner and driver risk. NHTSA will approve of FCA's improvements, and no further fines should be needed if we can succeed at this. So this is my recommendation and plan for FCA. And these are my references here. Thank you.